Hmm. So today I thought it would be good to hear from a few of our Chalice families. But before we do that, I would like to just share a few words. It seems that parents who are both working with young children at home, whom they now have to homeschool and entertain 24/7, are particularly impacted by this stay-at-home order. And then there are families around the world that are quarantined together in very small spaces, sometimes 6 or more to one tiny room. And there are families who've lost their source of income and are unsure how to feed their children. And there are families dealing with the painful reality in which some members are sick and others are trying to care for them while trying to remain healthy themselves. And then there are families who are separated and unable to see one another because of the current circumstances. And there are families in which parents work in the healthcare system, risking their lives for the greater good, who have to stay away from their children at this time. And then there are families where already strained relationships have become even more difficult. And there are families that are truly getting to know one another better through this increased time spent together. In fact, there are as many different configurations and experiences of this pandemic by families as there are people in this world. So today, I thought it would be good to hear from a few of our Chalice families to see how they are coping and what their lives look like these days. So the Posey family joins us first live, and we have Carrie and Mike and Alana, who is 10, and Isaac, who is 8. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nika. Hi, everyone. So as a military family, we're actually already pretty used to the government changing our plans at the last minute. Maybe extending deployments, changing our move dates and locations. And when we've lived on base, sometimes even imposing drastic rules on us. We're also pretty used to being away from extended family for long periods of time and kind of missing out on a lot of big life events, weddings, funerals, births of babies, graduations, and we have to do a lot of those things kind of long distance or communicate with technology. We're also used to having deployments where, Mike as a service member, or for any military family, the service member being away and missing out on a lot of those kind of life events too. I mean, for a lot of military families, sometimes you might celebrate all the birthdays, the anniversaries, all the big celebrations, all as one big thing at the end of a year. So we're kind of used to that delayed celebration type thing, that doing things over technology and keeping in touch that way. We're also kind of used to being the new kids in town. So moving every few years and needing to kind of just have our family unit to stick together and really just have each other as we get to know a new town, new school system, all new routines, doctors, dentists, activities for the kids, and meet our neighbors, meet our friends, basically find our community. So in that sense, we're used to really reinventing our lives every few years. So I think for a lot of military families, we were kind of well positioned and had some training, so to speak, to kind of adapt to this new normal that we're all living under. And so it's been interesting because now the civilian world has joined us in this kind of adapting to this new lifestyle. And I think a lot of us in the beginning as military families, we said, okay, what's this new thing that we're being asked to change our lives around? We got out our planners, we got out our binders, and we're like, okay, let's get our plan A, B, C, all the way through Z, and kind of adapt and float through those plans as we go. I mean, now that being said, this is obviously pretty well above and beyond still normal life for us. And it's been pretty exceptional for our family, as it has been for families all over the world. So I think for us, the biggest changes have been that our 2 elementary age kids have been, home full time and needing to learn through distance education. And that my part-time job's just, been canceled for this spring. And that we have a cross-country move coming up in 6 weeks that's still a little bit up in the air. But we have some things that have been constant too. So Mike continues to go into work every day. They're practicing social distancing, but they need to still work. Essential based operations can't just stop. And, units that are getting ready to deploy need to be trained, and they need to be ready. So they still need to do all those things. The kids have really both risen to the challenge. They've been helping out more around the house. Isaac is our kind of not our technology guy. He stayed with us for a minute here, but we told him he didn't have to do the whole thing. So the technology has been a little bit trickier for him to adapt to, but he's our doer. So he's kind of instituted some organizing the garage and his room, and he's helping around the house a lot. Alana's been really helpful as well. She's been making us dinners. She's been helping with the dog and helping out with her brother. And she's our technology girl. So the distance, she's our social butterfly. So for her, the distance away from school and from teachers and from friends has been tricky, but she's found some ways to adapt. She's going to tell you a little bit about that.
So I like technology, and I found some new apps that I can use, and one of them is an app that teaches you piano. And I thought in this time I wanted to do something new, and I'm trying to learn piano, and it's a new way to connect and talk to my friends because we can do it through piano because we like to go on a call and do it together.
So she's found some new ways, which has been great. I think for our family, it's been basically kind of like we feel that same feeling as like when we're in the middle of a move and we just are kind of like in limbo and we just have each other. So we've been doing a lot of family nights and play games and trivia games and those kind of things. I think we're finding the balance, as I think all families are needing to do now, where we spend a lot of time together, but we're trying to carve out some time for each of us to kind of have some downtime on our own. For our family, outside activity and travel have always been really central to our family in a way that we bond. And so I think, we've all been sad about canceled travel plans, some canceled things to see family, extended family. And so we've talked a lot about when we can travel again and what we will do. We also have family and friends living all over the world. So that's been kind of a hard thing for us. The idea that we, if needed, can't just jump on a plane and go is kind of a scary thought. And then we have, as I mentioned, we have a cross-country move coming up in about 6 weeks. So the idea of what will happen with that and how travel will be across the country is a little bit of a challenging thought. So, but we're trying to focus on the positive too, as a lot of families are. We're glad that Mike does have a job that will stay around. And so we're really thankful that we don't have to worry in that way. We're trying to enjoy the positives of less rushing around, of more open space on the calendar on the weekends and just trying to be together as a family. And then we're hoping that soon this kind of strange season of life will soon pass us by.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And good luck, Posey family. Good luck with your move. We're going to miss you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing what your lives look like now. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And now we're going to hear from the Ballesteros Ferraro family who made a video for us this week. Pia and Raul and their daughters Lulu and Coco, who are 3 and 5 years old.
Hi everyone, happy Sunday. I hope you're all doing well and staying healthy. We are here with our 2 kids juggling work and childcare. So it's been nice, but also kind of a challenge some days. We're doing well. Our girls are very resilient, finding ways to have fun, new toys to play with, messes to make all day long. They're doing great. It is nice, we found, to have everyone home all day long. We get to enjoy each other's company, breakfast, lunch, dinner together every day. So it's kind of a change of pace and we like it. We're really trying hard not to get into that COVID-19 funk that most people seem to get into. They're kind of sad and missing all the things that they enjoy and missing the people that they love. And so we're really trying to, keep our spirits a little high, even though we may not be feeling excited about the the same thing day after day after day.
Yeah, and I am happy to not have to drive an hour each way to work every day. It gives me a lot more time to spend with my family. The girls, I find, are a handful, but at the same time, I'm very grateful to be able to spend more time with them. I think it's been a challenge to adjust to just a new schedule, and it's kind of weird being at home and doing work. I find myself not being able to do much work because I'm home. So I think it just takes adjustment, but I'm trying to do as much work as I can.
Well, I hope you're all adjusting well to your new environment, your new routines, and we'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Hi, everybody!
How is quarantine for you, girls?
How?
Do you enjoy staying at home?
Yes.
Do you miss school?
Yes.
You do?
Uh-huh.
What do you like about staying at home?
That we get to have home lunch.
Home lunch. Oh, yeah. Home lunch is better than school lunch?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Okay. Say bye to everyone.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
That was just delightful. Thank you, beautiful family, for sharing a little bit about your life with us. I would love to come for one of those home lunches. They sound really good. And now we're going to hear from April Shiflett, Jason Hall, and their 3-year-old Tate. Jason and April.
So for some strange reason, it's not letting me spotlight me. So if some, so Tate keeps hitting the mute button. So I need somebody to spotlight us. Thank you. For some,
No.
you can't do that, buddy. All right, I need you to look at the camera.
Can you wave and say
Say
hello?
hi. Say good morning. Yeah. So we're gonna let this guy sit down at his desk and do some
Well, before we do that,
work.
what did you miss this morning? Who did you ask to see?
Say it loud.
Miss Carolina. Miss Carolina. Yeah.
So he misses his time with his caregivers in child space, Miss Carolina and Miss Iola, who've become a regular part of his life on Sunday morning. So that's a big adaptation for us. Has been creating new routines, and this wonderful person I'm married to here has played a massive role in us basically reinventing our daily routines and having healthy, regular behaviors and patterns to fall into instead of falling into sitting on the couch and eating potato chips and watching TV, which would be really easy for me to do. So you want to talk a little bit?
So this has been a very interesting season, and I agree with Carrie. It's about finding a new balance and being grateful for the things that we are able to do. Jay and I are both working. Amgen, while the site is partially shut down, the work is continuing because we have patients who need the drugs that we make. And my team in particular works close with manufacturing. So we're very engaged and busy. Jay has always worked from home. So the part for him that's changed is that he now has 2 extra office mates who are keeping him distracted a lot more than he used to be. There's been some challenges.
I listen to a lot more music through headphones than I used to.
So there's been some challenges there, but we're both very fortunate that we're able to be working. It is a juggle, and I have never quite felt this tired before in my life. There's not much of a break, and I never realized before, even though we had a very busy life before, how much it helped to have others who were here with us. Whether it's that time in the morning when I could, send Tate into child space and go to worship, or even the 10-minute walk from my office to Camp Amgen to pick Tate up at the end of the day. I don't have those spaces. And so we're having to figure out how to recreate that, to give ourselves that breath that we need to be able to manage right now.
At the same time, one of the things for me that's helped me center is the reality that the problems that we have, the fact that we're both so incredibly busy with work and having Tate home and having to manage that balance and feeling like there are so many things that are not getting done and feeling so unaccomplished in so many things. These are problems that so many people would love to have. You know, we think about, like I said, I sent up the concern. We just heard from one of Tate's primary teachers that Camp Amgen is starting to lay off staff. We're fortunate enough that we have a housekeeper that we have come in every couple of weeks. Obviously, we haven't during this scenario. I'm pretty certain that she's undocumented. She owns her own business, and I feel pretty certain that most of her clients are not having her in and they're not paying her. We're fortunate that we're able to still send her a little bit of money to help. But thinking about how fortunate we are and not letting frustration with not being able to deal with everything that's on our plates helps me focus on feeling gratitude. That I think is probably the most important thing that I can feel right now, while also looking for ways that we can help the people in our community right now. I think that's probably the most important thing that we can focus on.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for your honesty, your vulnerability, your willingness to share, and your wisdom and insight. We're definitely enriched by all of you sharing. I know that my family and I are certainly running into some challenges, but we're also discovering various new gifts with this time, I think. Without the stress and constant rushing around demands of work and school, we're taking more time to talk to one another and to really listen to each other and try to understand each other better. And I think also because we're less pressured, we seem to be less reactive. At least I'll speak for myself some of the time. And in the process, I think we're also being a little kinder and more patient with one another, right, Gabriel? So I think those are some of the benefits from this time I hope we can keep as we gradually transition to the new reality on the other side of social distancing. So my friends, I invite you to look at your lives. Whether you live with your family or you're alone, we're all learning valuable lessons from this unusual time. So I invite us this week to take stock of what's different. Make mental or physical note of what's different in your lives. What do you like about your lives now? And what's not working so well? And take a look at what you'd like to continue beyond this time. Perhaps you enjoy having more time for listening, laughter, and games, or more time to pursue your favorite hobby, or more walks in nature and being connected to the earth, or more time for meditation and finding inner peace, or more energy and time to help and be kind to others. You may have uncovered all sorts of things that you'd forgotten fill your soul and help the world be a little kinder. So I invite you to write those down and make a note of them in some way, because they could be too easy to forget once the usual rush of life begins again. And then also take stock of what you'd like to let go of. Perhaps you've had some insight into things that no longer serve you and your family, that you could release once this time of social distancing is over. Things like driving a lot, or rushing around, or pushing yourself too hard, or being alone too much, or being on screens too much. Write these down too, and take stock of what you are learning in this time out of time. And then notice, like Reverend Mancuso's reading, "Let us remember never to forget," asked us earlier, how then will we have been changed? We have this valuable and challenging time out of time. My friends, how then will we have been changed by this? So let's really take stock of these changes. Let's share them with one another in our families and on our Facebook page as a community. Talk with your friends and loved ones about them. And then when it's over, let's see if we can't co-create a better world going forward into the future with lessons that we've learned from this time. Are you game? This is where I see you all raising your hands in excitement because I can't hear your voices. All right, my friends, may it be so.